mediocre. Completion percentage, 64%. 200 passing yards. These are like Mac Jones numbers, but not as dirty as six yards. Pass, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 87% passer rating. Yeah. Nick? Does Rodgers deserve the lion's share of credit for the Packers' winning streak? He didn't manifest it.
No.
Okay.
No, they're turning in their first 12 games they forced 12 turnovers. Well, that's 1 a game. In their last 4 games they have forced 12 turnovers. That's 3 a game. They have been running the ball. They were running the ball well their first 12 games of the year. They've been running the ball great their last 4 games.
What'd you say?
They've been running the ball great. Coach, I've come around.
Did that hurt to come around?
Listen, America, 5 years ago, I might have said to Coach one day on the air, I think NFL teams should maybe never, ever run the ball. And Coach won't let it go. I was wrong about that, okay? Sorry.
When you reference that stat, where are the bugle guys?
So, the trumpets. So can we just show you guys the Packers during the 4-game winning streak? I mean, running for 140. They're throwing for 190. They have 4 passing touchdowns. They have half as many defense and special teams touchdowns. Yeah. This is not about the quarterback, Brew. It's not. And so, if I'm giving credit, I give credit to the defense, the running game, first and foremost, Christian Watson's emergence, and then Rodgers.
Where's Rodgers on your list? Like 5th?
Something like that, yeah.
Wilds, yes, 1,000 times yes. Aaron Rodgers deserves the lion's share of the credit. And here's why. Because when the Nick Wrights of the world were saying,
quit.
Throw in the towel, right? You're not going to make the playoffs. Let's see Jordan Love. You got to play Jordan Love. This is robbery, what you're doing. This is the worst ever I've seen a quarterback be handled by any organization. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers stood flat-footed and said, I'm not stopping play until we're eliminated. And that sent don't you think if he had gone to the front office and said, look, my thumb's banged up. Yep. I'm here next year. I'll sit out. I know you need to see Jordan. They would have been like, maybe they even happily. They would have been like,
scored
okay,
19 points against the Bears. They wouldn't have caught 3 Tua interceptions.
They won.
But I'm saying, you don't think they couldn't have done that with Jordan Love?
I don't think they'd be in this position with Jordan Love. I think Aaron Rodgers set a tone in that locker room that we're not quitting. That's right. I know we're 4-8, 5-8, whatever. We are not quitting, and that's the first. The second thing is he has accepted a lesser role. You pointed out he's been a game manager now. He's willingly said, I don't care about the stats. I don't need another MVP. He's managing the game. So I think he's letting the run game and the defense.
You don't think he cares about the stats, Coach?
Yeah, I think him willingly becoming a game manager.
You don't think it's willing?
Well, I do think he understands the value of the running game, especially if people are going to play split safety, if they're going to give you the opportunity to run the ball effectively. I do think he has the patience and perspective to do that. But I'm actually with Nick on this. I mean, it hurts me to say this, but it does come down to the fact that they've run the ball. They've gone from 17th in running the ball to 8th in terms of amount of times they run per game. And then defensively, if you just look in the passing game, it's 9 picks to 3 touchdowns. So they've only given up 3 passing touchdowns during this winning streak as well. And no quarterback's gotten over an 80 quarterback rating. So that's really good defensively. And when you look at Rodgers, he has been flat-footed, but not in necessarily a good way, because his quarterback rating is almost 20 points below his career average.
Right, and it's below where it was during the first 12 games of the year. It's below where it was when they have stopped turning the ball over. There are 3 turnovers in 4 games versus 17 in the first 12 games. And so, go ahead.
Well, what I do like that he's done is I do think him having perspective, him being calm about it, him being patient and putting things in perspective for a young locker room, or a lot of young guys in that locker room, saying we're not out of this. We just need to keep hammering away. That has real value from a veteran leadership perspective.
See, that's what I mean. Football-wise, I'm with you guys. But he set that tone. If he doesn't do that, I don't think they're in the playoffs.
All right, so who do you have this game? You're going Lions or Packers?
Packers.
And do you think Rodgers is going to cook, or do you think you're going to get game
No,
manager?
I think he needs to be a game manager and not make the mistakes. They held him to 15 points, Detroit, last time they played. They lost because Rodgers was bad.
Three
Had
goal line
season-high
interceptions.
right.
Remember, Aiden Hutchinson got one and he was throwing to Bakhtiari.
If he doesn't make mistakes, they should win.
Again, this is as uncomfortable as Coach was agreeing with me. I'm really uncomfortable right now because I'm going to say something Coach is going to love, I think, and it's compliment you as well. You said something yesterday, Wilds. Yeah, you said something yesterday, Wilds, that I think initially the audience that's crazy, but I think it's exactly right. Which is, I think the Lions' game plan will be, Aaron, you beat us.
Yeah, it's wild.
I think that the Lions have been a very, very bad run defense. Right. And that's why the reason that they're in this position where even if they win, they might not get in is because Carolina ran for 320 yards on them.
That's too much.
And so I think that they are going to have to sell out to stop the run and give Rodgers one-on-one looks and hope he looks like he's looked most of the year, which is that those deep shots are hit or miss and much more miss than hit.
What's so funny is after you asked me that question yesterday, I went home and thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I would challenge Rodgers. I don't know if I would challenge the 4-time MVP.
Right.
Just because, look, I've done it in the past with a great player, with Randy Moss, early in one season where I thought, he's kind of fallen off. And
you should have called me on that.
Well, I mean, he had been at the Raiders. There was a lot of reasons. And then he hung 180 on us.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm saying.
I can't believe you pitched that as a game plan. Randy Moss, guys.
No, he did catch one in triple coverage. So, but what I'm saying is, when you have a great player who's been a 4-time MVP and you're going to such a meaningful game, you got to be a little careful about challenging him too much. You better have a couple different pitches to throw as opposed to just going all in on that.
He'll beat
you
him.
get frustrated,
if they challenge
Rodgers.
you like that, I think he'll beat him.
Fall apart. I don't know.
I think he'll beat him.
Lions week 13. John Harbaugh unsure if he's returning to practice this week. Nick, do you think Lamar's contract situation is at all impacting his availability?
I don't see how it couldn't be impacting it. And that is not, to me, at all a damning accusation.
Right.
I would not judge Lamar for this. We just saw a team that was alive for the playoffs bench their quarterback in Derek Carr. Why? Because his contract was as such that if he got hurt, they would have to pay him. And nobody was like, oh my God, so unfair to Derek Carr. People were like, oh yeah, that's the business. Kind of makes sense. Even though the team is so alive for the playoffs. So if you're Lamar and you are guaranteed $0 after this season. Now, we all say he's going to get franchise tag, and he probably would, and all that, but you are guaranteed nothing. And you have seen a guy, granted it's a different situation, Lamar's a better player, but RG3, once upon a time, a decade ago, had a sprained knee, only missed a week, went out and played in a playoff game, and got wrecked. And say, man, if I had $180 million guaranteed, I might be a little more bold. But as is, I need to be 100% right to play. That's how I would act. Now, you might say, Coach, that's why I'm not a great athlete, but I wouldn't blame.
Don't.
No one thought Kyrie could do that, including his teammates.
Including Ben Simmons. Weird. 0.4 of a second. Jazz down 2. Knicks MVP, Lauri Markkanen. Hits it. Doesn't count, though. Markkanen should start the All-Star.
Is he like tier 4 on Knicks?
He should not start the All-Star.
I think he should.
He should start the All-Star.
Yeah,
you're giving him Ja's spot since Ja's bruised guy?
Wonderful G League. Scoot Henderson.
Ooh.
You know, whoever misses out on Wembanyama,
right.
They're going to be bummed out. Like, oh, hold on a second.
Right. No, it's going to be like Zion and Ja. Where number 2 is an awesome
Are you taking
consolation.
shots at my guy Zion?
No.
Got a hurt hamstring? It's a wonderful time.
No, I'm not saying no because I think Wembanyama's going to be better than him, but it's going to be a great consolation.
Weird. More Bucks Wizards. Bradley Beal, what was your plan here? No, what are you doing? No, it's like, sure. Have some of this. It's more on Bradley Beal's pass.
You know, Brew, I didn't know that was in Giannis's bag.
It's a Bradley Beal play. It's a silly pass for Bradley Beal.
I didn't know he could dunk that.
Pretty good.
Giannis had that. Wonderful Virginia at Pitt. Nike Sabandi. Big dunk here. ACC action. Panthers win, and that's weird and wonderful from the National Pastimes. Packers Lions. Good segment coming up for you.